When I took my first step, or should I say swing, in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the sense of wonder that hit me with the first game of the 2020s Miles Morales came flooding straight back. It's impossible not to feel it as you swing across New York, take down villains, and generally keep the neighborhood in good order. As both Peter and Miles, the stakes have never been higher, with every story telling an intimate tale of what it means to be Spider-Man and the dark presence of Kraven and Venom being an ever more present threat. In what's been a stacked year for games already, there is always room for one more to swing in and join the party. Not only does Spider-Man 2 join the party, but it puts its foot firmly forward to being crowned the game of the year. Being back in the Big Apple has never felt so satisfying, with not one but two Spider-Men to play as in Spider-Man 2. Miles and Peter have their own stories alongside their shared narrative that forms the basis of the game. You can swap quickly between them and spend as much time playing with each one of them as you want. Exploring the city as both Peter and Miles, however, is utterly flawless. If you thought swinging was already fun, mixing it with the new web glider can make exploration from one side of the map to the other even more dynamic. And with double the map size of its predecessors, travelling through it had to remain interesting. But if you find that you don't want to swing or glide and just want to get to your destination, you can eventually unlock the ability to fast travel after a while. Initially, I didn't think I would do much fast traveling, but this may be the speediest fast travel I've ever experienced in gaming. Gone are the loading screens and even the black screens between as the map closes in and soon enough you're flying through the sky. There is so much to do in the city that you will seldom be stuck wondering what to do next. With so many activities tied into trophies, it's an achievement hunter's dream. With a shiny new platinum to tempt you into exploration, you're going to become Kraven the trophy hunter by the time the credits roll. As I once again took up the mantle of Spider-Man, I couldn't wait to see what the story had on offer for me this time. The stories of the previous games are some of the best in recent years, so the bar was extremely high. Fortunately, it delivered and exceeded my expectations in every single way possible. Playing as both Peter and Miles felt fantastic, not just in their Spidey forms, but also as the men behind the masks. We watch Miles as he struggles to balance the ordinary with the extraordinary, as he questions what the future holds for him. As Peter, we see a seasoned Spider-Man still grieving the lives he couldn't save. These human stories break up the swinging and fighting wonderfully, alongside a whole cast of characters who add to the experience. This is particularly apparent with Miles' mother and his group of friends, who represent the ordinary life he has to sacrifice to be Spider-Man. It's this amount of complexity that demonstrates how lovingly crafted these characters really are. When it comes to combat, Spider-Man 2 is incredibly fluid, with an assortment of gadgets and abilities at your disposal. This particularly comes into play with the introduction of the symbiote, and eventually Peter's Venom abilities. As he grapples with the newfound powers and the consequences that come with it, you can feel him change as the attacks grow more vicious, the quips more serious, and the haptics of the DualSense controller tighter with every sadistic slam. I never thought I would feel sorry for the average grunt that would try to hit Spider-Man with a baseball bat, but the Venom abilities are simply that vicious. Occasionally, combat encounters outside of bosses can be a little repetitive, as you take on the same variety of thugs and stop the same crimes over and over. But while there should only be so many arms deals and arson attacks I can take, their execution is flawless, especially given how they tie into the overarching story. As Miles has to learn to temper his rage, he forms new abilities that create new possibilities to help civilians. As Peter's rage intensifies, you're left wondering if fighting the thugs was worth this chaotic descent. It's in these combat encounters that you realise just how relentless the symbiote truly is, and an early indication of what vicious villainy you can expect from Venom. Of course, as with any superhero game, the hero is nothing without their villains. While the previous game saw Dr. Octopus and the Tinkerer lead the way, Spider-Man 2 focuses on Kraven the Hunter, who has come to New York to seek out his ultimate quarry. A major criticism I had of the original game was that outside of Mr. Negative and Doc Ock, villains like Scorpion, Vulture, Electro and the like didn't get their time to shine beyond the set pieces for the bigger picture. And don't get me started on Screwball. In Spider-Man 2, however, the villains shine, even if they're doing their best to kill you. Kraven is relentless and casts an imposing presence throughout the game. Even when he isn't directly in front of you, he is terrifying, and may just be one of the best villains in gaming I've faced off against. All of this happens while Venom is slowly but surely integrating into the story as the ominous evil that lurks beneath the surface. And it wouldn't be a Spider-Man game without an opening epic encounter. In the first game, we saw Kingpin as he grappled to stay in control, but in Spider-Man 2 we have Sandman, who may be one of the best and most intense opening boss encounters since Poseidon in God of War 3. There is a slew of other villains that have made their way into the game that I won't spoil for you, but rest assured they all present a degree of complexity that has them deserving of their place, and each of them expands on the impact Spider-Man as a presence has on the city. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a triumphant continuation of an already spectacular series. While each Spider-Man has been the star of their own game, Spider-Man 2 allows Peter and Miles to flourish as they take on Kraven, Venom, and an entire collection of meticulously crafted enemies. With a story that takes turns I wouldn't have expected, fluid combat with haptic feedback considerations, and an expansion of an already flawless and dynamic way to traverse the map, it's safe to say that I was smiling all the way from the beginning to the end. We gave Spider-Man 2 5 out of 5. For more reviews, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to GG Recon Gaming, and I'll catch you next time.